Okay, this is a tutorial that I thought I would do. It's taken me a long time to kind of figure this out. It's creating hair and also putting clothes onto your avatar, because when you're doing scenes you don't want your character to wear the same old clothes all the way through your serial or your animation. Maybe they need to change clothes and they need to change hairstyles. There's a scene I'm doing. It's kind of a bedroom scene. It's not a sex scene or anything like that. It's actually in the bedroom, in her bedroom. And obviously she wouldn't have a ponytail. She has a ponytail in some of the scenes. Some of the scenes she doesn't. So I had to do hair, and I had to learn how to do hair. I went through quite a few tutorials, and everybody says different things, and I tried to find the easiest method for me to do the hair, and I thought, well, I'll pass this one on to you. So let's give it a go. So the first thing we do is we come to our blank screen. I've got no character in here, and I'm going to press delete and get rid of that cube. I need that back there. And I'm going to import my avatar. Now, the avatar that I'm going to import is going to be in the buff, because I'm going to put clothes on her. So what I'm going to do, so we don't have any embarrassment, even though it's just an avatar, it's still a representation of a naked person. So I'm going to bring my camera in. In fact, I'll set all this up before I bring the avatar in, because you probably know how to use a camera. Right, so I'm going to bring in my avatar. So I'm going to go to File, Import. Now I've got an MHX2 avatar that I'm using. I'm going to put the presets onto this. This is from Make Human. Click here, Face Shapes. Click here, Face Drivers. Add Rig. Custom shapes are there, and MHX there. It's contained in my file here, and I'm going to press Make Human. Move this human out of the way, press that, go to my exports, and I've got Gleason Nude Opening. Now the reason why I use a nude avatar is because I can use her several times and put different things, different clothes on her, different hairstyles, blah blah blah. So I need one avatar, and I can do a lot with one avatar instead of keep generating and generating avatars and taking up computer room in your memory. So let's press import. It takes a few seconds because the computer's got a lot to think about. It's doing all its mathematics and putting it all together like Dr. Frankenstein. So there we go. There's our avatar now. So well, yeah, that's big, but it's not really that big. I'm going to bring the avatar down. Whoops, very quickly here. Take it back a little bit, because all I want is the head. Right. Now I usually right click this bar here and flip it to the top. I like to view at the top and not at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the armature. This controls the armature. The armature is actually inside the avatar itself. The bone structure is inside. This controls it. I'm going to take that away. So I'm just left with an avatar. I'm going to right click the avatar, puts me into object mode. I'm going to go into edit mode, and now I'm going to use the vertices. Now we haven't covered vertices in any of these tutorials. The vertices are these here, and you've got this basically will shade the whole of the vertices. This will just do the line of the vertices. You see, I'll pull it up or down, and this will just take a point of the vertices and pull that up or down. But what I want to do is to make a skull cap for my protagonist, Captain Gleason. So what I'm going to do is pull that in, and I'm going to press C on the computer, which gives me this little ring here. It's like a little paintbrush. Well, it is a paintbrush. It's an electronic paintbrush, and it's going to create some shading, and I'm going to fill in all the blank spaces on my vertices here to make myself a little skull cap, because we're going to generate hair from this skull cap. Right click to come out of that, turn, press C again, brings up my little paintbrush. Now your hairline, as you know, and a lot of these tutorials that I've looked at, they tend to cover the whole of the head, but your hairline doesn't actually cover the whole of your head. It only covers, if you pull out your hair, even though you might have long hair, it all comes only from a certain point on your scalp. So we're going to paint these, paint them down to about the neck there, cover them. This is quite a quick, you don't have to be like tremendously accurate with this. Just as long as you're covering where your hair follicles would actually come out of a human being, which is about here. Hair here, 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 hair here, hair today, gone tomorrow. It's a little joke, kids. I was never a very good comedian, even though my old school teachers thought I was a great comedian. Right. So we've shaded in all the bits here for the hair follicles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this and separate it, because I need a skull cap, and we're going to use a thing called a little triangle here for vertexes. Now I hope this doesn't get too confusing. When I first started this, it drove me absolutely crazy, and I was getting nowhere with it and really giving up with it. So keep these shaded. If that happens, and I'm always doing that, I'm always pressing the right one instead of the left one. Control Z brings it back. Control Z brings it back, so you don't lose it. And that was the other thing, people forget to say Control Z. It's very important, because you think, oh, I've lost it, what do I do? How do I get it back? And then you go and you do the whole process again. Control Z brings back what you previously were doing and you thought you'd lost. So right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press Shift D. D equals duplicate. And then I'm going to press P. And it's separate. I'm going to separate these meshes, or this mesh, from the mesh it's sitting on. That's not at the moment. We got a bit of a... No, that's alright. I thought that we'd lost some vertices. We haven't. So I'm going to press P, and I'm going to separate. I'm going to go back to object mode. And you'll notice that I've got myself a little skull cap. Now what I'm going to do with this skull cap is go back to edit mode, and I'm going to press W, and I'm going to subdivide. he says. There we go. I have to select and deselect using A, so it goes yellow. And I might actually try and subdivide again. So I've got hundreds, thousands of little hair follicles here. And I'm just going to... Right, so that's what we've got. Now what I'm going to do is, see this little triangle? I'm going to bring that down and I'm going to add to the vertex group. And I'm going to name that hair. And I'm going to assign. So that assigns that cap to hair. And we've got lots of vertices. So now what we're going to do, this is a magic trick. I'm going to go to my particle settings. So this tutorial is also helping you with particles. Now I'm not going to go around too much into the science of particles, because all I want to do is show you how to put hair on a head and how to utilize the particle program and vertices to do that. So I've just pressed that little sparkly thing. That sparkly thing is particles. Emitter, it's going to emit hair. It hasn't yet, but it will do when I go to object mode. Whoa! Look at all that hair. So now our protagonist has got hair, but my God, that's a lot of hair. Looks like something out of the Sistine Chapel. I'm going to cut the hair length. I'm going to cut it back to 0.15. 0.15. There you go. That gives me more manageable hair. Hair length, right, number, don't change that. I'm not going to change the number, because you'll find if the more you increase the hair, you'll think, well, I need more hair than that. Your computer will slow down. When it's dealing with particles and it's trying to render, it's slow. And this is only 16 gig, I think. Was it 2 4s? I think it might be 8 gig. This computer's about 8 gig. And it does struggle to render particles. So I'm going to upgrade a little later on so I can get my rendering done a bit quicker. Now what I need to do is B-spline. Again, that's for the rendering, to render this. And I need some children. And I'm going to do interpolation. No, it looks like a Roman helmet. Let's move me out of the way. So I got myself a Roman helmet. Now what I need to do is style this hair. So we're interpolated. You don't need to touch the path here. We got the emitter. We got the hair, render. You could have wavy. Ooh, you could have radical. Is it radical? Radial, curl, braid, spiral. But I leave it there. My protagonist is not too bothered about hairstyles. Okay. Now we've got to make this look a little bit more fashionable. Well, yeah, it's pretty fashionable than that. So what we do is we come, just take me down here, we come to object mode and you'll see particle edit with a little comb. Press that, you get this. Comb, smooth, add, length, puff, cut, weight. And there's your hair coming out of the scalp. Now I sometimes add children. The reason why I add children, it just gives you the whole mass. If you take children off, it gives you these particles here to play with. Usually when I start to comb, I just use this and go to my render setting, which will be a bit slow but won't give you anything there. And we go there, and we can see we've got a bunch of kind of blonde hair. I'm not going to go into the colouring of the hair today, I'm just going to go into the shaping of the hair. Otherwise it'll be too long of a tutorial, because we've got to put the clothes on it yet. So I'll go back to particle setting, children, I'm going to knock it off render, and now we're going to manipulate that hair. So I'm going to comb it. I'm going to go to navigate, left where we are, so back to the camera view, and watch this. And I'm going to bring her hair down with my comb, just as if you were combing your own hair, or if you were a barber or a hairdresser and you were combing somebody else's hair. And we've got quite a lot of hair here. In fact, she's looking quite funky. I'll bring that down there. Bring that to the back so we've got no bald bits. As hair naturally would fall. Let's take that there and take that down there. And for the tutorial, I think that's pretty good. And what we want to do is just render that. To me, render, you've got to put it on object mode. So then we got kind of living hair. Go back to material. Go back to my particle setting and just, as you notice, there's some straggly bits here. Well, like any good hairdresser, we might have to do a bit of cutting. So I'm going to bring her in. I'm going to go to my particle and tools, so where you'll find it, and maybe do a little snipping. I was never a very good hairdresser. There we go, it's clearing it back a bit. Back to your object mode and just have a look at the render. And just let it render. As I say, it's very slow when it renders. It's got a lot of information to take in. Yeah, you see it's still fiddling around with it. The computer's still trying to figure out But at least we got some hair. We got some manageable hair, I would call it. A bit bald here, but we can change that. What we can do is go to particle settings, we can go to add, and we can just make ourselves some more hair. And then we can go to comb, and we can kind of brush that in, brush that down. I mean, you can spend hours and hours doing this with the hair. I don't want my protagonist being all bald. I want her to look quite beautiful, attractive. And bit funky there. Bring that down, bring that down, bring that down. Oops. Bring that down, bring that down, bring that down, bring that down. Anyway, she's just been woken up. She's had a bit of a surprise. So she's a bit bedraggled in the scene that I'm writing at the moment. So there we go. What I'm going to do here, I cut this to here, and when I go to render this, I shall go to shading, and I shall knock off subsurface scattering and ray tracing. Try and give it a bit more speed. Let's have a quick look. There you go. It's a bit of a mess, but that's how you do hair. And you can colour this. So I'm not going to go into colouring, as I say. It's going to be another half an hour if we go into colouring and combing and cutting, and but that's how you do it. And that hair is flexible. If you put a force field on it or wind, it'll blow, it'll move, which is great. So you got some kind of realism for your girl or your bloke, whatever rocks your boat. So there we go. So now what we're going to do is a little trick. Right, now what we're going to have is a little trick here. We're going to put some clothes on it. I'm going to take it back slightly. Oops. She got a shadow. She got shadows in the right places, kids, so that's cool. Now I need to put some clothes on her. And I've made some clothes, and I borrowed a piece of software. I could get it for 30 days called Marvelous Designer, where I've made my wardrobe. It took me 30 days to make it, but I did it. Learned it and made all the clothes I need. I've got about 6 characters, so I only needed probably about 12 pieces of clothing. And you put them in. I put them in a wardrobe ready to put on. I can also make clothes in Blender if I wish, and maybe we'll go into that some other time. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to import an outfit. Don't forget, she's been disturbed. She's in her bedroom. Something's disturbed her. She gets up out of bed. So I'm going to import an OBJ, wavefront OBJ. And I got t-shirt and knickers here. There we go. You can see that t-shirt and knickers. I think you can see it. Yeah, t-shirt and knickers. I'm going to press that, and I'm going to import my OBJ. And there they are. And I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put that on there. There, we can look at it now a little better by going to the Hemi light. It lights up the whole surround. So there we go. So I got some clothes. Now you'll know, if you've tried to put clothes on a avatar in Blender, that those clothes there are not attached to the mesh. If I move the mesh, as you noticed, the clothes will stay in the same spot. Our goal is to make her t-shirt and her knickers stick to her when she moves. Very strange if people moved and their clothes stayed in one place. It'd be a very thrilling world, wouldn't it? Now, I'm not going to do any fancy prancing about with all the vertices in here, because as I say, this tutorial is literally just about how you can use the hair function on your particle system and how to put clothes on. Now, there's a nice little trick, this. I learnt this from a guy who calls himself Knucklehead or something. He's very good. I forgot his name. Durango, I think his name is. Like something like name out of the thing movie. Tarantino, Durango. Right, so there we go. Right, let's make it. Right, so now we got the clothes set. Let's take it down a little bit here. Take it up a little bit. Actually, there's another way to do this, but and just make it wider and just push that there. Put the skin. So anyway, we got t-shirts and she's got her drawers on, so that's cool. Right, now this is a little trick. What you need to do is to right click the t-shirt, hold shift and right click the avatar itself, the control of the avatar, the self there, and then you press Control P and you press with automatic weights. Then what we're going to do is we're going to press the skin, hold shift, press the t-shirt, we're going to come up here and we're going to go to weight paint. It'll turn blue. We're going to go to our tool panel and we're going to transfer weights. Now what we're going to do is go back to our object mode and we're going to press and hopefully she moves with the clothes on. A very simple process, but my goodness, it took some time to find. If it wasn't for Mr. Durango, I wouldn't have found this. So thank you, Mr. Durango, if you do switch into my channel, which I doubt, but if you do, thanks for that one. One more little thing that I must do before I sign off. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to click on the outfit. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to try this. I'm going to add some texturing to her underwear. And don't forget, she's in the army, she's the Marine, she's a Marine. I'm going to go to desktop and I'm going to get in a texture. Camouflage. If you're in the Marines, you probably wear camouflaged underwears. So let's, and there, we've got camouflaged underwears. And one more little trick. one more little trick. I'm going to go back here, I'm going to click on here, I'm going to go to miscellaneous, and in our Make Human program we've got a thing called Make Walk, and you can download avatars or little skeletons that move, BVH files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load. I'm going to press conversation with gestures, load and retarget. I'm just going to take that off and I'm going to play. And as you see, she moves and she talks. Hello? Blimey, that was quick. Alright, I'll be round in a sec. Wait outside the front there and I'll be round. Alright, see you in a bit. Bye.